Have you ever encountered a hurdle with launching or growing your business? Listen, there are two things that run a business, the back end and your soft skills.
Telling you right now, if these aren't in place, you'll lose clients and you'll lose money. You don't want that? Well, you're in the right place.
Hey, I'm Dana.
Hey, I'm Sarah.
We're your hosts of the Entrepreneur Encounter, and we're going to give you a behind-the-scenes glance into our businesses, give you genuine feedback, tips and tricks, plus occasionally bring on guests that care about supporting you to grow your business organically and nurturing authentic relationships. Are you ready?
Have you ever felt stuck, like you're pouring effort into something with no visible results? It's frustrating, right? But what if success works like a bamboo tree, growing beneath the surface for years before being a success overnight? The journey to personal and professional growth isn't always glamorous, but the work you put in when no one's watching is what truly sets you apart. In this episode, we talk with Sean, who has traveled the world, immersed himself in different cultures, and learned firsthand how deep connections and self-development fuel success. He shares insights on how soft skills, personal growth, and long-term thinking can transform not just your career, but your entire life. If this conversation sparks your desire to strengthen your own soft skills, we invite you to check out our Soft Skills Studio, a space where purpose-driven entrepreneurs like you gain practical tools to lead confidently and communicate effectively. You'll find the link in the show notes to learn more and join our growing community. Now let's get to the episode.
Well, hey, Sean. Thank you for being with us today. We're excited to have you on. Can you tell us a little bit about you and how soft skills have impacted your life?
Sure. Well, thank you for having me, Sarah. It's a pleasure to be on the pod. So a bit about myself. So I'm 22 years old. I'm from Connecticut, but I have had the privilege of traveling the world a little bit. So, being young, getting out there, taking risks, you come across a lot of different cultures, a lot of different experiences, different beliefs. And I think that although it can be uncomfortable at first, because it was empowering, especially when I came home, because it allowed me to craft a better, unique perspective. And if I can understand different people in different way that things do, I can relate to them better, which also means I can add more value to them and build like more meaningful, sustainable relationships. So all the little things like body language, like our tone, these will help us connect with people. And the more we connect, the better relationships we can build.
So knowing your age, a lot of the times people in their 20s don't necessarily think like that. So that to me is, I want to say kudos to you. That's amazing. And being able to talk to different people and getting different perspectives, I love that. Like having conversations, asking questions and all the things, because if you don't, then how would you know anything, right?
Absolutely.
I love that.
The more exposure that we get, the more that we can learn. And I believe I'm not sure where I heard this quote, but it was referencing Elon Musk. And it was like, just know a little bit about a lot. So, of course, you want to be a specialist in what you do so you can get paid for your worth. But also when you're around other people, you don't want to be like that one person out that's like, oh, I can't hang in this combo. You just know a little bit. You can throw yourself in there and kind of catch that wave and part of whatever's going on.
I love that you pointed that out, because I'm almost verbatim what I told Sarah with the start of this podcast. Because when she first approached me, I had actually never heard the term soft skills. So I had to look it up, and I joked with her and I was like, well, if you give me time to dive into a topic, I can talk all day long as I don't have to show my face. And so then we started building this passion project turn into its own self-sustaining situation that we have today, 3 years later.
I love it.
So with that mindset, I guess, one of the things that you kind of talked about was like the long-term investment in growth through networking. Something that stood out was it's not just for career growth, but you use it for personal development too. Can you dive deeper into that for us?
Absolutely. I think that in life, there's times you come across certain individuals that you can tell they're very developed. And that's because there's a lot of hours and there's a lot of time that's put in the dark when no one's looking. And I think the same way that we work on our skills for our career, the more that one can personally develop themselves and continuously evolve, I think everything gets better as a byproduct. So I think naturally your soft skills will get better. Naturally, your ability to communicate and make more sales so you make more money will get better. I think you'll be more present in your conversations, so you'll build deeper relationships. So I think that it's not just development in one aspect, it's kind of bringing it full circle and knowing that, yes, I'm content, but also I'm always striving for more to continue to be the best version of myself.
Ooh, I like that. I feel like when I first started networking, I think that's what I practiced because you always have an opportunity usually to introduce yourself. So each week I would bring a different like elevator pitch to see which one resonated with the audience better. I'm like, that's the one I'm going to start using. This one works. So then I would expand on that and then repurpose my elevator pitch into social media content because that's what sparked people's interest. So then I would expand on it. And then next month I would try another one and see which one would land, who had additional questions, and then would keep growing that way. It definitely helped with me being more comfortable public speaking wise.
Definitely.
Which if anyone has tuned into this podcast, they know it is not my jam. I will do it, but I'm not happy about it. But over the years, because I launched my business in 2020, so in the 5 years, I've gotten significantly better. I will actually show my face on camera, but it definitely didn't start right away. Like I had to go through that educational aspect of networking and like stepping out of my comfort zone to then push myself with more purpose through what I was gaining and what I was giving.
I love that.
I mean, it's scary when you start your business or anything that you do in life, right? And it's something that is totally out of your comfort zone, something that is new. You think of all the things like, what if this? What if I fail? What if I stutter? Or whatever the case may be. But if you want it, then you have to be determined to get it and learn along the way and build that confidence. Yes, it's going to take some time, some quicker than others, but everybody has a different story and everybody's in a different path.
I think what's kind of really cool to think about is like, are you guys familiar with the story of the bamboo tree?
No,
I don't think so.
Okay. From my understanding, the bamboo tree is obviously you take its seeds, it's planted in the environment that it's meant to grow in and can be watered every day or every couple of days, however it is that it needs to be watered. And you won't see the thing come above ground for years, typically 3 to 4 years. So you'll be watering this thing every day and you're like, where's the tree? No results. It must not be working. And then typically in the latter 5th or 6th year, sprouts up within a week, 6 to 7 feet, sometimes even almost 10 feet. And I really like that because it really resembles the risk that was taking of planting that, really not knowing when this thing was going to grow or when things might come to fruition, but coming back every day to water it and knowing that, focusing on the inputs and showing up every day. And if I can just win today, not worry about what happened yesterday and kind of not really worry about tomorrow, but just try to plan for it. I think if we can take that mindset day to day, that puts you in a really powerful spot. And then if you pair that with like, what do I want to do for the decade? Not just what do I want to do next week? You can really see exponential growth over a timeline, depending on your outlook. I like to go the long-term route.
That is interesting. And it's funny that you mentioned a tree because I think trees are awesome. So I think that's something that's definitely going to stick with me. As time goes on, a lot of the times you want something now, like you want it right now. But in order to get what you want, you have to be willing to put in the work. And then over time, then maybe overnight, something's going to happen, right? Because you put in all the work. Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing with a business mindset that I've noticed. Like I'm in a co-working space. And so every week we have this mastermind where all of the partners within the space come together. We learn, we have a topic, but hearing how they operate, that was a big thing that I noticed was using the tree as analogy. You have to work on now, but you also at the very same time have to be doing something to produce 10 years from now or a year from now. So I had to learn that work for me also included me mapping out my year. When I first launched, I put that off till the last minute and was always just in the present. But then I get to a point like, well, what do I do now? What am I supposed to be doing next? I have no idea where I'm going. I'm just going. And so this is the first year that all my kids are in school at the same time. So I have 5 hours, maybe 6 of uninterrupted. I get to focus. So
Beautiful.
I've mapped out with time blocking and like those daily habits for that long-term success of I get my client work done between the morning hours. So like 10 to 12, maybe 12:30. Because I know without a shadow of a doubt, I'm not going to be interrupted. And I'm more of a morning person. So then in the afternoon, before I pick up my kids, and I need that sense of accomplishment, I will work on my own business, whether it's producing one thing, and that could be just getting a landing page done. It could be getting a week's worth of social media done. It could be building a new evergreen, lead magnet. It could be even clearing out my overrun downloads folder. Who knows? But it helps me be a better business person. And then I promote something. So I have my daily habits of 15 to 20 minutes of marketing minutes where I reach out to people. And I do that every single day. And my minimum is like 5. If I can get more, great. But 5 is my minimum. I have to talk to 5 people every single day. And then sometimes it feels slow. And then all of a sudden I have 3 to 5 people in one day who are ready to work with me. But it didn't happen until I started reaching out months ago.
Absolutely. My thing is like, live in the present moment, reflect and learn from the past, plan for the future. So it's like, we're really grounded right here in this moment. I learned from what happened in the past. I took those lessons so I can duplicate what works and I cut the failures. But then I also plan ahead. But then I align the daily actions with the overall long-term trajectory. That's how
do you do that? What did those daily habits look like?
So basically, I like to use time blocking. And for me, everything is basically we have like a goal, right? And then we have milestones that kind of bring us to that goal, kind of like these check marks, more or less. And then for me, it's all about what can I do on a daily basis per priority. So if you have a business with clients, it might be a bit different versus just like, I want to learn a new language. And then the goal is what can I do today that's going to move the needle closer? So it's not like, oh, what did I accomplish every day? That is important. But if you switch it to like a weekly scale, it's like, what tasks did I do that really moved the needle? If I read 1 chapter in my book, that's great. But if I spent 2 hours finding a coach that I have really great chemistry with to find a new language that I'm starting with next week, I just set myself up for success to hit my goal, right? That was a huge needle mover. So for me, it's like in my business, if clients are really slow and I want to help more people, that needle mover is going to be outreach versus if kind of the lead flow is really consistent and my clients are getting results, but I know they can get better results. My needle mover is going to be coming up with new protocols and implementing that to get them better results. Because that's going to move the needle faster and closer to the overall goal.
Yeah, that's where I feel like I'm at too. Like trying to figure out, okay, what's going on right now? If it's slow, what can I do to get more clients and make those connections and stuff? So for over the last 3-4 years, been on LinkedIn, right? So, but I haven't really been like, oh, I'm there. But over the last couple of weeks, I need to start making connections. And so every day, like Dana said, like take that time and the amount of conversations, I should have started this years ago. You know what I mean? Like when you think of the growth in your business and you're trying to figure out like, okay, what should I do now? Well, like you said, like move the needle forward. Like how can I get to this step? Well, you got to start doing it. Because if you don't, then you're going to still be in that same spot forever unless you decide to actually start doing that.
It's a lot more riskier to stay where you are than take the risk and move forward. The cost of inaction is very heavy.
Oh my gosh. Yes. That needs to be written down somewhere.
Exactly.
Hey there, listeners. Ever feel like you're struggling to connect with customers or lead your team effectively? That's where soft skills come in.
Entrepreneur Encounter isn't just another podcast. We're a community dedicated to helping early stage entrepreneurs like you master the soft skills that make or break a business.
Technical skills are important, but without communication, collaboration, and confidence, your business might never get off the ground to the next level.
In our membership, Dana and I share actionable insights and tips to help you nurture the soft skills you need to thrive.
Give you access to bonus content, workshops, and a network of like-minded entrepreneurs who are all on the same journey.
We'll teach you how to boost your confidence,
Become a leader who inspires and motivates your team,
navigate conflict like a pro,
to resolve disagreements without drama and build stronger relationships,
communicate clearly and concisely, get your message across, build trust, and close the deal.
If you're ready to take your business to the next level, join the circle by clicking the link in the show notes.
I want to talk about growth. We've talked about networking and we talked about daily habits. So once you get that foundation, how do you guide your clients into growing and what do they need to start working on next now that they have that foundation?
So typically the people that I work with they're usually top performers in their industry. Typically career-wise, they're doing very well, but they made the common mistake that almost everybody does, which is I'm going to put my career first and get the title or the position and make all the money. And then they sacrifice the thing that you simply can't buy, which is your health and your longevity. So I take those people that have accomplished that, but then have like low energy, probably tiredness, doesn't matter how much they sleep. And I get them to a point to where basically their life changes. So they have high energy throughout the day. They're not waking up with any brain fog. Me personally, I can probably focus for a 4-hour block, like without any interruption, maybe with like a little like stretching. I wasn't able to do that 2 months ago. So it was a muscle I had to train. So really I won't work with people that have any like health specific problems. Like if they have a sleep disorder, that's like a specialist thing. But I take people that are either in kind of that current state with those issues, and then I bring them to their desired state over my 90-day program. And some people, like I've worked with even musicians that like they feel pretty good overall, but they know that they can be better, like they're not at their peak. So the things that we do get them there. And then I work with people that are like chronically fatigued and just are sleeping like 3-4 days a week and are trying to catch up on the weekend, which catch-up sleep is a myth. And then they go from 0 to hero in 90 days, right? Because there was so much they could improve on. But I think it's really about the daily inputs and then how do we maximize those over a long-term period of time. One thing that we focus on in the program, specifically in the last 4 weeks, the last month basically, is how can we make this a sustainable lifestyle when I'm gone? Because I don't want to make it to the point where it's like, all right, Sean, I paid you all this money. Great, we worked together, right? Let's say I was a fitness coach. You lost all this weight. 90 days is over. All the weight comes back. I don't play that game. So it's like, how can we make this a sustainable lifestyle and not just a duty so that after I'm gone, every day is not hard. You enjoy it and you can see those results day after day after day.
Yeah, you definitely need to continue that work, especially when we're talking about our health. I mean, we all want to be healthy, right? But we have to continue that. So like if you have a bad habit, let's say that you eat a bunch of junk food, right? So like now if somebody's working with you and you're working together and then after that, it's like, oh, so we're done working, I'm just going to go eat more junk food. But no, like if you have to get into that mindset of creating those habits to where like, okay, well, if I want to, for example, I like to write. If I want to become a better writer, I'm going to have to write every day. I can't just stop. And then if I become a really good writer, I'm going to keep going. Like you have to build those habits, build those muscles to be able to have it long term. Absolutely. And I also would like to follow up with that saying that on the deeper level, to make sustainable change, it needs to be rooted in the individual's identity. So a lot of times when people will go to like a weight loss challenge, let's just say it's 90 days in this case, they change the how, so the method, right? A lot of times they change the what, how they did it, but what did they fail to change? Who? They're still the same individual that came out after that. They're not the person that's like, I'm a fit individual that does these things because it makes me feel good and leads a higher quality life for me and my family. It's just more about, oh, it'd be cool to drop 20 pounds. After that program is done, the identity, how they view things, their mindset on it didn't shift, which is why what they did was not sustainable.
Ooh, that's an interesting perspective. Because you hear about mindset a lot, and we've had guests on the podcast before that have talked about mindset shifts and things. But I don't know if I've heard it in that regard for like us as individuals to have healthier lifestyles and just changing the who. Mindset is changing the who, not the what or even the why, but you're changing who you are to be who you want to be in our example of 10 years from now, a year from now, 90 days from now. You need to go and change who that is. I like that.
Thank you.
I'm trying to think how I can apply that into my life right now.
Hey, the best way to start is identify the person that you wish to become, whether it has different characteristics or different habits, however long down the road. Figure out how that person carries themselves, how they think, how they attack tasks when they're stressed out, how do they handle, how do they react, and then become that person today. And what you're going to do is you're naturally going to get the results that that person in the future that you want to be has as a byproduct by working as that guy or that woman today. I see it as being self-aware, right? Yes. Digging deep into like, how do you react to certain emotions, right? How are you doing X, Y, Z? I feel like over the last couple of years, I've grown personally and professionally. And I love that and becoming more confident in myself because when I started my business, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. This is foreign to me. What am I doing? And all of those things. When we started this podcast, I was, I guess, afraid because it's public speaking. You're speaking to new people and you're doing something out of your comfort zone. But over time, you develop new skills. And when you become confident and you be self-aware of like your emotions and all those things, definitely helps. I love that you said that. Self-awareness is huge. I would attribute a lot of my success thus far on my journey, even though I would argue I'm just getting started, to being extremely self-aware. The ability to just like be present with emotions and not judge them and let them go is incredibly powerful. And like crazy quick story, like I was in the grocery store like a week ago, right before a snow blizzard. So you already know what was happening in the grocery store. Everybody's, it's like 2 things on the shelf when I get there. It's like 5:45 at night. And I'm going down the aisle and I'm looking for some coconut oil, and the one that I had wasn't there. And some woman, she asked me, she's just like, all these shelves are so empty. I was like, I know, right? And she was like, yeah. She was like, but you're so calm. And I'm like, I just try my best. And she was like, but how do you do that? And I was like, I just control what I can control and I let go of what I can't. And I was like, I will admit, meditation for years has helped. She's like, oh, meditation. I'm like, yeah, I recommend the app Headspace. And then she just smiled and I was like, have a good day. And then I got my egg and I walked out.
I'm all about some breath work and keeping calm as much as possible. Because again, I have 5 children between my husband and I. And so everyone gets a lesson on breath work at least once a day because there's a lot of big emotions. And I'm like, for a most recent story, since you're talking about the egg thing in the snow, my son was panicking because the light flickered. I was like, no one can see my face right now, but just know I had a deer in headlights moment. I was like, there's nothing scary about that. It's telling mom that she needs to change the light bulb. We're not in a scale. Like, I don't know if he just thought it was like a haunted house situation, but like we had to do a lot of breath work. And I am statements that I've learned actually through another guest on this podcast of I am calm in the dark for if the light bulb goes out. Not that it did go out, but it could. And so I am calm in the dark. I am safe in the dark. I am like whatever else I could come up. I don't remember, but I know those 2 things. And I feel like that's something that as we want to grow in our businesses or we want that balance that you kind of help bring to those people that were like business only focused. I am worth a good night's sleep. I am worth, those type of things. That's where my mind is going with the way that you help, because I appreciate that you don't do 90 days and then say, hire me for another 90 days or good luck and leave nothing. You build a sustainable foundation for them to thrive in life personally through these soft skills. But also we've learned over the years that how well your personal life is how well your business goes. Because if you are well rested and have a clear mind, then your business is going to do better. Your business is probably doing great with you exhausted, but you're exhausted. So if you can heal yourself and allow your body and mind to rest and recharge, think about where it could go 10 years from now.
I love that. And again, coming back to like the long-term outlook, there's the biggest correlation between the performance in your business and your health. I've been there. I did the all-nighters. Did I get some stuff done? Did I cram the test the night before and remember the answer so the next day I could write it down? Sure. But was I able to remember that information 4 days later? No, it's gone. And that's because neuroplasticity doesn't work that way. So if I know that I want to be at the best in my business, and because I work with top performers, my clients expect the most out of me the same way I do for them, I need to be at my best 25/8. And that starts with my health, relationships, mindset. All that dictates how I show up and how I perform.
Oh, another thing too, if you're sick, rest, right? Like you need a rest. A few weeks ago, I was sick for about 2 weeks. I should have just said, I'm not working for these 2 weeks, but the kids are in school. What am I going to do? I'm going to try to do some work. And that I should have not done that, because I know going from working for somebody to working for myself, I know when you make that mindset shift, like, okay, well, if I'm my own boss, I can do what I want. Because obviously, if you're working for somebody like a W-2, like you're working in office and corporate, whatever the case may be, you don't want to take days off because you're going to miss a paycheck or whatever the case may be. And that took me a long time too, to realize that, okay, if I'm not feeling well, like I need to rest, because if I keep working and not resting, I'm going to stay sick. So I think that's a point to make, because oftentimes we don't do that.
The transition is never easy. I remember doing it myself. It's very hard, but I think in that time, having somebody like a coach that's been there is a really valuable tool. Because like a transition like that's a life transition, especially if like you're trying to side hustle, maybe it fails, okay. But if you're really going into a business that does work out, your life changes. So that transition can be deep, it can be hard. And just like trauma, if it's not dealt with, it will catch up to you. So we need to do it properly.
Well, and I think there's lessons learned. Like maybe your side hustle failed because it's not something that lights you up, and that coach is there to help you see the outside view. Or maybe you had this really great idea, but you never put it in the limelight. You keep it on the back burner. I think that is also something that's important to take note on, of maybe you're not working on it because it's not in your zone of genius or your zone of joy or whatever it is that you call your zone, but it's just not something that needs your immediate attention. I know that with me, my shift, I like how you said your clients are paying you to get your full attention, essentially. And so you have to take care of yourself so that you can give them that.
Exactly.
You've shared that expectation that's in your branding. And so if you don't take care of yourself and you don't show up, well, there's a whole domino effect that could just damage lots of things. So taking the time to take care of yourself, and then you can meet your clients' expectations. I don't know. That was the part that hit the most. And a lot of self-reflection on how am I taking care of myself so that I can take care of my clients.
Absolutely. And one thing I like as well is, like, I've seen on social media, and it kind of gets a bit out of hand from my experience, but people are like, oh, then like, be selfish and just put yourself first and F everybody. And I'm like, all right, and relax. I think that that's true to an extent. However, I think where people kind of get mixed up is that it depends on you. Being selfish, there's nothing wrong with that. But if, for example, Sarah, you put yourself first in the morning because that allows you to be at your best for your clients and your people, awesome. But if you're okay waking up, doing your little thing, and then being there for your clients and other people first, and you take your time at night, so you put yourself second or you put yourself third, as long as you still make it work for you, that's what matters. It's not about putting you first. It's about making sure I put them and myself, not just me and not just them. So it comes full circle.
Oh, that's really good balance. I love that.
Definitely need a balance of some sort, right?
I feel like we could talk about that for a long, long time. So for our listeners whose interest has been piqued and they are extremely intrigued, how can they connect with you outside of this podcast?
Oh, it'd be an honor of mine. They can simply reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Facebook and LinkedIn are the same. It's just my name, Sean Martin, SeanMartin. And then on Instagram, it's I am, and then Sean.Martin. Feel free. Shoot me a message. I'm always looking to connect. There's only two things that really matter to me when it comes to like business, more or less, and that's just relationships and results. So whether we're looking to connect or whether somebody has a problem and I can be of value to solve it, I'm here to help.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Sean. Thank you so much for being on our show today. As always, all of our information is going to be in the show notes. Until next time.
Absolutely. Pleasure, guys. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode. Remember, soft skills aren't just some fluffy buzzwords that get thrown around in the corporate world. They're the key to unlocking your full potential as a professional and a human being. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself and seek out opportunities to improve your soft skills. Sarah and I have a variety of workshops, online courses, and complimentary clarity calls for you to practice in real time with us. Links are always in the show notes. And be sure to join us next time for more insights, tips, and tricks to help you succeed in your entrepreneur encounter.